So, as some of you that frequent my channel may know, I've been going through games, um, kind of make videos on each game that like I've either really liked or had a really terrible experience with, like a history type of deal. And that inevitably led to Aliens Colonial Marines. But it's not all doom and gloom looking in, like going into this. What happened was, I, like most people that ended up getting suckered into buying the game, had seen the pre-release stuff, the E3 demo specifically, and it looked awesome. And I followed the game, and I kind of noticed a little bit of a downgrade, but I was like, oh well, that's just console footage, it's not PC footage or anything like that. So through some wheeling and dealing, I got my hands on a special edition of the game for, I don't know, like $40 or something like that, and picked it up on release day and went home and fired it up, and I cried. I wept like a little girl that ran out of ice cream into my pillow, and I ended up forcing myself to finish the game. And ironically, it's not completely terrible, but it yeah, really left a bad taste in my mouth. So when I eventually built my gaming PC, there was a sale on somewhere, and I think it was Amazon. You could get Colonial Marines for like 99 cents. And I was like, you know what? They got that 4 GB patch that supposedly helped a little bit. Um, for 99 cents, you can't go wrong. So I bought it and downloaded it, and it sat and collected dust on my hard drive till I was going through and looking at games I wanted to talk about for my one series that I'm doing on here. And I was like, you know what? I haven't tried it with the patch yet, so let's fire it up and see how it is. And so far, we're still in a really long cutscene. But I think this is all in engine anyways, because it looks it already looks better than what I had played on the 360. And thank God there's no more screen tearing.
Attention chicks and dicks of the USS Sephora. As of right this second, Rhino 2-1 and Rhino 2-3 are fighting to get a hold of the
It's just
situation
still
we're
one of
in.
the dumbest
We
fucking
don't
speeches
leave
I've ever heard.
Marines behind. Over the next 2 hours, we're gonna send a series of dropships over to aid with Kazovac on the USS Sulaco.
Sir, the Sulaco was reported last seen over Fury 161. How is it back over this planet?
Lieutenant Reed, thanks for the interruption.
Ashley Birch is the voice of Lieutenant Reed. You may or may not know that she's also the voice of Tiny Tina. I don't know, like their first mistake with this game is the Marines do not have the personalities that made you like them like they did in Aliens. You liked Vasquez, you liked Hudson, you liked Hicks and all. I mean, a lot of the Marines in the movie were disposable, but because they got killed off in the first major encounter. But those other ones, they had personalities. They were fleshed out characters, and this is your basic just badass space marine. At least you don't have the overdramatic punching of the button to open the door. It's been a long time since I played this. I can't remember how long it's been since this game came out, but essentially the first, 4 days or 5 days, I think it took me to plow through the campaign. Oh, they fixed that. They put the glass crack in.
What the hell just happened in there? Raider 6-5, are you in the air yet? Explosive decompression in the Sulaco.
I don't remember the glass cracking when I played it before.
Umblical's venting atmo into the black. Looks dicey, sir.
Dicey. Raider, I need grown-up words.
You have 20 minutes before
it looks. I mean, it's not like
You heard the lady. Get to the other side and we're shutting it down.
it's not on par with what that E3 demo was, but it does look a lot better. Alien Isolation, I think, looks better than this game, which I mean, Isolation is newer, but the lighting's slightly better than I remember.
Several injured over here. Need a corpsman right away for the downed Marines from Rhino 2-1. Negative 2-1. That explosion jacked the airlock on our end. We cannot use the umbilical without risking more lives. Sit tight and stabilize our Marines. 2-1, what is the status of 2-3? Winner. He sent you over into this mess as well. I'll up your
And this was a game too, like much like everybody, it was all hyped up for, we were getting this awesome Aliens game, and one of the things going into it that had me bothered off the bat, I mean, I was still excited for the game, but like I don't know why, and I don't think it's the individual people that make like this game or Aliens versus Predator or the movies or whatever. I think it's Fox that does this, but I don't understand why they have to shoehorn Bishop into every fucking thing that they do.
Remember what I said about heroics, kid. Actual out.
Like they could have just come up with a new android to put into this game, but they had to shoehorn Bishop into this one. You had Carl Bishop Wayland in Alien versus Predator. You had, I mean, it was just, and they already had Lance Henriksen in this because they carried on with the to bridge the two movies, Aliens and Alien 3. They had Michael Wayland in this, and that's who Lance Henriksen played in Alien 3. But they had to shoehorn another Bishop android into it, which I didn't like at all. The floor there looked a little bit better than wasn't all. Didn't look like steps from a 8-bit Super Mario game. And like there are some elements of this game where things come together okay. Like this beginning, while not like what was shown in the demo, there is a slight bit of tension waiting for the aliens to show up. The part with the boilers was kind of neat, I mean, it was once you figured out you could basically crawl through the area and not have any threat to you. That was cool. The Raven, prior to the power loader, when it was hunting you and you go under the floor and then you had to open the door and hurry up and seal the door. Granted, it was only like 3 doors you had to do that to, but I mean, there was beneath all the garbage, there was the potential for something really good that just never came to the surface. The biggest mistake being, I think, introducing the PMCs, because then you just became, instead of fighting xenomorphs, then you came across as Call of Duty in space, as a lot of people like to say, which maybe if they would have peppered it here and there and cut down on it a little bit, it wouldn't have been so bad, but you probably fight there's probably as many PMC encounters as there is alien encounters, and I think that was kind of a detriment to the overall feeling of the game. And while trying to appease fans with the return of Hicks, I think that was they should have just left well enough alone. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it sucked Hicks was dead, but just the way they explained it was just easier to roll with it. He was dead than to go with the whole stasis interrupted thing and all that other stuff. Plus, I don't know. I don't know if Fox is still considering this part of canon or not, but we'll see. I would actually rather take Alien Isolation and consider it canon than this game, which I think they might be using Isolation as canon, because they do reference in some new novels that Amanda Ripley had an encounter with a xenomorph.
Shoot that thing! Shoot that thing!
And we clipped through the wall. This is especially, like, going back to this now after playing Isolation, it kind of makes the animations look a little bit bad because the animations for the alien in Isolation were done so well. Yeah, I mean, you had a couple moments where it bugged out, but I mean, like this in Hunting the Alien, a little kind of like this little cat and mouse thing here. If they would have had more than that, more of this, as opposed to having them just like funnel into the area and run directly at you, and completely bypassing all the other characters in the level just to come at you, it might have had a little bit more tension to it, much like the hive scene in the movie, or even the scene in their towards the end of the movie when they went into operations and they were in the ceilings and under the floor. You know, that you don't have that degree of tension. It's just like a shooting gallery. Because I'm sure the patch isn't going to fix the AI to the point where it makes it slightly smarter. And like I said, they don't just funnel into like a choke point and come after you. I mean, you can trick the AI into just, you can back into a room and let them just funnel through the door and just mow them all down. There's still some, I mean, and even if you patch the game and fix the graphics and all that, you're still not going to fix all the dumb shit that happens in the story, like keys and the umbilical. And I still don't understand why they threw the whole thing in there with the derelict spaceship, other than just be like, look, there it is. You know, uh, there was a lot of unfocused padding to the game.
The flight wreck isn't too far from here. We grab it, link up with Rhino 2-1. O'Neal, you still
And then to end it on a cliffhanger. So not only did we get a bad game, but then we got it on a cliffhanger,
No. You gotta buy us 10
and we'll probably never get anything else out of it and see where the story's going. And I don't think we'll probably never know the full extent as to what happened during the development of this game. But Gearbox games have a certain feel to them, and I'm not defending Gearbox in anything I'm about to say, but this game doesn't have that feel to it that you kind of get accustomed to playing a Gearbox game. And if you've played the Brothers in Arms games, the Borderlands games, I think you might know what I'm getting at. But I think the other studios had far more impact on the game than anybody's letting on. And, you know, if reports are to be believed, Gearbox had a foundation. Timegate threw that away and started again. And then when Gearbox got the game back, then they had to just get that working, as opposed to even, they couldn't even start from scratch, I guess, is the rumor, that they were so close to deadline that and the game was in such a state that they just had to polish it enough to make it playable, and they couldn't really fix anything else. But you know, it is what it is. It's a shitty situation for the fans to kind of get hosed the way they did. But I mean, you know, where was Sega during all this? Was Sega checking in? Things of that nature, but you never know. Like I said, we're probably not going to be privy to all the details. And the game isn't completely unplayable. Like I said, it does have a couple moments that are okay. Like, that was kind of cool there. But I mean, you know, it's a shame how it turned out and how things went with the game. Yeah, the animations still kind of look like crap. Just kind of run at you with their arms out like, come at me, bro.
O'Neal, where I am out of your location in 1 mile.
Now, I don't seem to remember them crawling on the walls so much. Or on the ceilings. And I don't know if that's scripted or not, but I don't remember that. But if you would have had more of that, you know, where if it wasn't scripted, if that would have popped up more, where you go into a room and you think you're safe and they come busting through the door like that, I think that would have added some more tension to it. And like even that, that's no seasoned Marine would probably do something so fucking stupid there. There's just a lot of story elements and gameplay elements. I think like what's bad about the game is just so bad that you just got to shake your head and wonder what the fuck was anybody thinking, whether it was Gearbox, Timegate, Demiurge, whoever developed any given part of the game where the whole game is in general, like the fuck were they thinking? I don't know. Visually, it looks a little bit better, but the AI is still stupid, and I'm not impressed. I mean, like I said, I was out 99 cents, so I'm not too shook up over the whole ordeal. Well, actually, I guess I'm out $40.99 since I bought this fucking turd for the 360 when it came out. But I got a cool little statue out of the deal, I guess. And for probably the first time ever, out of any of the opinion pieces I've done on a game, you know, if you're thinking about revisiting games in the past and you see this anywhere, just fucking skip it. Just skip it. The multiplayer was fun, but there's not enough people out there playing it now to even make it worth the 99 cents. So you're not missing anything by not playing this. You're not missing any significant addition to the lore by not playing this. And if you have to get one Alien game, get Isolation. Because this is, it's not quite the abomination it was when it came out, but, you know, that's only going to be if you played on PC. If you played on the Xbox, see, clipping through the umbilical there. If you played on the Xbox or the PlayStation 3, I mean, obviously they don't get that 4 gigabyte patch, and I don't know if they ever did anything to fix the AI or attempt to fix the AI or anything like that. But I mean, the gameplay's still bad. It's just basically, I guess, like I said earlier, it's like COD in space. The aliens just funnel towards you. They completely ignore other characters. The PMCs, same thing. They will basically ignore other characters and come right at you, and they're not real smart either. But I don't know. It's just a shame that something I was so hyped up for when it was announced and they showed the initial demo at E3. You know, it just looked so good, and then we got this. But you know, I didn't want to go through this whole thing and only talk about games that I thought were completely awesome. I will be discussing games that completely let me down and kind of gut punched me, and this was one of them. And it's a steaming pile of dog shit.